needs of the government is the daunting task that Parliament faces this week as the budget is read and finance bill put before the public. This is a story on page 6. Still on the top page, beneficiaries of the 1 man, 1 shilling talk. I see the raging debate on resource sharing has missed a big component, that of generation, making it either a red herring to divert attention from the finance bill or a Trojan horse on the same story on page 10. And still on the top page, Ruto's plea to leaders inside UDA's crisis talks. President spoke during the party's National Executive Council meeting and told leaders to commit to serve Kenyans and also asked them to solve their differences internally. A story on page 9. And I see here, national page 2, your child could be exposed to serious risks in school. And I just really want to look into that story. And I see here ministry marks out new threats to learners' safety. Climate change, mental health concerns, and cybercrime are emerging issues that require urgent attention. Alcohol, drug and substance abuse, HIV, insecurity, extremism, and radicalization are also fingered. And I also see here National Education Sector Strategic Plan of 2023-2027 Ministry of Education saying that focus will be on prevention and management for inspections of non-communicable diseases, including mental health and psychosocial issues that affect learning outcomes. I think most of the time as parents, we just take our students to school, our children to school, and then we forget about it. We don't really care to ask them, how was school? Is everything okay? Are you doing well? It's all about how much did you get? Ulianguka maths? You know, those are the things and the conversations we mostly have with our children. But I think it's important in this age and era, they're exposed to so many things. So we have to be vigilant and ask them intentional questions about what is happening in school. And I also see on page 3 here, mother in pain after her 4-month baby is defiled by an 11-year-old. Oh, this is really, really devastating. I see after the government ordered Shaurimoy residents who lived near rivers to shift to higher ground, Beatrice moved in with her friend. Her friend had a son who defiled her daughter. This is really, 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 really unfortunate. And this child is so young. Where do they even get exposed to these things? That's why we need to be careful and really talk to our children and know, you know, the kind of company they keep or what they even know. And moving on to page 4, why the West is hesitant about Africa's crusade to reform IMF, World Bank. The continent is at risk of not meeting its global development goals, including the Sustainable Development Goals and the African Union's Agenda 2063 because of the global financial architecture. Look at that story on page 4. And page 6, Parliament's daunting task to offer a balanced finance bill. So I see here eco-levy is one of the issues raised by manufacturers who argue that it will impact the prices of basic commodities like bread due to the increase in the cost of packaging. Businesses have fired warning shots at the government, predicting job losses and closure of farms in favor of other markets in East African communities should the bill be passed as it is. And just going to the impact and what it really looks like, 468 shillings is the new price of a litre of cooking oil on implementation of the eco-levy and 25% excise duty on crude oil and finished cooking oil. 20,000 shillings is the proposed cap on motor vehicle circulation tax by KEPSA instead of 100,000 shillings as indicated in the bill. They called for an exemption of commercial and agricultural vehicles. 270 shillings is what a bar of soap will cost on implementation of the eco-levy task, an increase of a whole 100 shillings. 40% is the increase in the cost of construction due to the implementation of the Export and Investment Promotion Levy due to the increased prices of billets and steel and clinker. 100% is the increase in the cost of packaging cost due to eco-levy task. Oh my, this is a story on page 6. You can have a look at it. But as we say, God is our source at the end of it all. So even when all these taxes are being introduced and all that, I think we can trust God. And I believe we can actually trust God to provide amidst all these things happening. So don't lose hope and don't let the tax conversation scare you so much. You're connected to a source that never runs dry. Let's look at page 7. Creatives industry set to benefit from proposed law. Interesting. The bill seeks to enhance the contribution of creative industry to the economy. It also mandates the national and county governments to create an enabling environment. Eddie Okech, Migori senator, here saying the creative sector also contributes to the country's participation in the global economy. Page 8, Gachagwa's gamble and curse of deputy president. The one man, one vote, one shilling call paints a picture of a man who is charting a political course. The DP seems to be a man in a hurry to achieve a handful of matters within a span of time. A story on page 8. Martin Olo, who is a political analyst, here saying Gachagua is too fast. He is making a mistake too early and therefore isolating himself. Ruto began building his political muscle on the second term of his deputy presidency, and this is a story on page 8. And of course, page 9, Ruto now moves to restore order in the troubled UDA party. William Ruto, UDA party leader, saying where the courts have issued orders stopping the election, we have to postpone. We must respect court orders. A story on page 9. And let us go to the health and science pullout. I see page 4 here, which has something interesting. Is something bothering you? Tell it to an AI chatbot therapist. Interesting. We have therapists right here at Sitam Valley Road who give services for free, but now I think the AI is joining us on that. In a country where traditional therapy can be expensive and often requires navigating long wait times, the instant affordable access offered by AI chatbots is a game changer. Look at that story on page 4. I'm also really asking myself, how effective is this? I don't know if someone has actually tried it, but I probably will try it just for the sake of it and then see. I see here on the back page, KCB replenished their league account with another title, page 32, and then page 31, Cabras keep flying rugby, flag sky high. The Sugarmen won the Enterprise Cup for the 4th season running. Cabras have now won the double for 3 straight seasons since 2022. Page 30, please stay calm for real action has just begun. Kisumu Day renewed their rivalry with Maseno in county games this week. Kisumu County games to kick off on Thursday at Maseno School. A story on page 30. Now let us just peep at what is being reported in the Daily Nation, and I am sure we have a bit of duplicates the stories making headlines right here on the Daily Nation. I see respect Gachagua, Ruto censures MPs. I see here President William Ruto, who yesterday revealed why he settled on his deputy Rigathi Gachagua as his running mate ahead of the 2022 election, has asked young and ambitious UDA politicians from Mount Kenya and his Rift Valley backyard to respect the deputy president in the wake of wrangling in the ruling party. Interesting. Pages 4 and 5. And still on the top page, when MPs go trigger happy. Page 3, there has been a surge in cases where lawmakers mishandle or misuse their licensed firearms, leading to fatalities or injuries, attracting the attention of investigators and even leading to court battles. The story on page 3. And I see page 2 here, 2.5 billion shilling state debt choking the media, says the NMG chairman. Nation Media Group chairman Wilfred Kiboro has said that the media in Kenya is reeling from a 2.5 billion shillings unpaid debt by the government. On the economy, I see page 6 here. Gathungu wants over Treasury unrealistic tax proposals, a story that we also had on the Standard. Auditor General Nancy Gathungu has criticized the government's revenue projections as over-optimistic and also unrealistic. And page 3 here, House of Guns, when MPs go trigger happy, just on that particular story. And the MPs with gun scandals, let me just list them one after the other. Number 1, we have Gabriel Kagombe. We have Paul Ongili, and that is Babu, we know, as many know him. And we have Didmas Barasa. We had a case of the same during election some time back. Samuel Arama, Silvanus Osoro, and David Sankok. Look at that story on page 3. They say that security experts want leaders licensed to carry firearms to show restraint and good public image. And moving on to page 4, Ruto calls troops to order on rising wrangles in UDA, a story that we also looked at on the Standard. And I see Treasury's tax projections unrealistic, says Ganthugu. And I see here 1.6 trillion shillings is the amount of money Treasury has collected in the first 9 months of the current financial year. And 60% is what the KRA has managed to collect of the 1.96 trillion shillings revenue target for the current financial year. A story on page 6. Page 8 here, I see anger as graft claims rock eviction drive in Mathare and Mukuru. I see here locals claimed fraudulent activities had marred the whole process. A story on page 8. And moving on to the opinion, I just want to look at just one of the opinion polls here. I see you should not just study Chinese, but Chinese plus. Universities should offer interdisciplinary programs that combine language studies with professional training. A story on page 10. Those who are interested in learning foreign languages, this can be a very good article for you. And let's go to the sports page here. I see junior starlets put one foot in World Cup. Kenyan girls overran Burundi 3-0 in the first leg of final round of qualifiers, making a big statement in their quest for a place in global tournament. A story on page 32. And I see here on page 31, again, Gau's players have carried stars high despite challenges. Cecil Odongo here at the Kogalo corner saying, I ask, didn't Onyango prove his value to the team in Kenya's 2-1 victory against Gabon in Group F match of 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers? A story on page 31. And lastly, page 30, Kericho's Magre. Don't know, Gigi is not here to tell me how to pronounce this, but let's go with Magre. Wins Nation Classic Tony. I see here handicap 27 player cards, 46 points to win second leg of tournament in Nyahururu. Let us look at the Business Daily just briefly. Cars, fridges, TVs top list of collateral for 5.1 trillion loans. Kenyans increasingly using household items to secure credit. Shrinking pay forces borrowers to costly debt. A story on page 2. And I see here how Intern helped recruit 45 senior staff at State Fund, an article by Peter Mboro. Look at that story still on page 2. The back page, I see stocks deep, treasuries flail as hopes of Fed interest rate cut fade. This is more on the same on finance route as U.S. jobs post a strong report as a 10-year treasury yield leaps 14 basis points, dashing hope of imminent action. Let us go to the last word by Victor Emil Frankl, who is an Australian neurologist, a psychologist, philosopher, and Holocaust survivor. Anasema hapa, those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. Let me read that again. Those who have a why to live can bear with almost any how. Interesting. I think this goes back to purpose. When you know why you were born and why you were created, there's just a way life has meaning. But anyway, let me not put water on this last word with my philosophies also. And thank you so much for remaining with me all the way to the end of the newspaper review. You can grab a copy of your favorite, and of course at Hope FM 93.3 right here in Nairobi, we have news updates at the top of every hour. Right here at Hope TV, we have Dira at 7 p.m. We have News Watch at 9 p.m. Let us now look at the video of the day.